Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome into the first episode of DC On Screen. This is a podcast about the DC Universe properties being produced for film and television, from next year's Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, to weekly television fare like Arrow, The Flash, and Gotham. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, and this is my co-host, Jason.
Hello.
All right, so we have not been doing this, and there's been a lot of news, so we're going to catch up real quick and talk about some older news and what we thought of it, and we're going to be talking about, some of the trailers that just dropped. Let's start off with Batman vs. Superman. How did you feel about the Batman vs. Superman trailer, Jason?
I don't know how to love it enough. In short... I don't know if my heart's big enough for all that love. You've seen every other iteration of Batman on screen, as far as tonality could be concerned, and the one we haven't gotten to see is old gray, wise to the punch Batman, and the true Dark Knight Returns Batman. It's that part I'm looking forward to. Now, the good news is for any of those films, if say you get lead poisoning and lose your ability to see color, it's not going to actually change your viewing of the film. It's still extremely dark, which, all right,
it is,
to be sure, is at least an improvement over last time, because Sapien Man was the biggest problem you had with that film. I want to say it's the biggest problem. Is that the biggest problem, or was it the emo portion?
It was... My biggest problems were probably more in line with Pa Kent, but we'll talk about Man of Steel at some point. But this is not a problem that's going away. They seem to really just want to desaturate everything that they're doing in this DC universe. It actually, like, Man of Steel it wasn't sepia toned. It was more like early bird and Instagram. So
yeah.
This one looks like it might be a little more colorful. It's very dark, but it might have some more saturation to it, which...
We might actually see blue at some point during the film. Maybe even red.
Which, I've always felt like, if Man of Steel, you have the military guys, and they're like, shoot him. Which one? The one in blue? What about him? I'm like, which one is in blue? They all look like they were in
No one on this
gray.
planet wears blue. What are you talking about?
I'm like, Man of Steel was the original 50 Shades of Grey.
Right. And we're going to have Aquaman at some point. I don't want him to rise out of a deep black sea. Right. I want him to come out of a big blue sea and go talk to another man in blue. Like, what? At this point, we can't cast Green Lantern, because it's just going to be like Dark Hunter Green Lantern. He will not look green. All of the actual things that come out of the ring, I don't even know what color that's going to make, because it's always a bright green.
Well, I think that's the problem. I think Warner Brothers said, well, we did Green Lantern. It didn't go over so well, so let's just do the opposite of everything that was in Green Lantern. And then at some point they were like, well, how do you want to do this color thing? And they're like, wait, was there color in Green Lantern? Well, yeah.
Right.
No, take the color out.
Just get rid of that immediately.
Shit that mucking up our
That's
cinematic
what they'll
universe.
do, though. And they've been renaming stuff anyway. Like, the Green Arrow is now the Arrow. So he's just going to come out and be the Lantern. He'll just be Lantern. Or they'll call him the Lantern.
I had not considered that. And now
it seems likely.
Actually... No, I mean, I think I'm pretty sure they have released movie titles, and Green Lantern was in there. So,
gotcha. Well, we do need to do that, and on a future podcast where we didn't just have an amazing amount of trailers just drop, like this week. We're coming up on the Flash finale. We just had the Arrow finale. We'll get to talk about Gotham at some point in more detail. on a time like where we have more time to go back for that, it'll be interesting to actually go back and look at everything DC's got planned and which parts of it do cross over. Overall trailer, freaking amazing. This is the kind of thing where as much as we have a problem with it being the way they're shot is just really uninspired, but this is the kind of movie where if you're going to take a real dark tone like this and you're going to not let any kind of light in, you might as well freaking do The Dark Knight Returns.
Well, see,
this might be the exception where we're okay with it. And hopefully, by the time they do Justice League, we'll have a brighter outlook in that universe in general. Because right now, it's a false god thing. Batman and Superman are fighting. Mommy and Daddy are going to hit each other, and that usually means it's a bad tone. So if we can get past the infighting and then get to the point where we're actually fighting somebody, hey, let's let some color in.
Yeah. I don't think the cinematography is at all at fault in any of this. Like, when you look at Man of Steel, you can tell it was shot really beautifully. The problem is just the color grading afterwards.
Before they went into post, happening. It was wonderful.
Right.
The actual DP is not at fault here.
What was it we were talking about the other day when you said that Roy G and Biv were all accounted for?
I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't know.
Probably the Avengers too. Because that is one of the major tonal differences so far in the DC movies and the Marvel movies is that's the thing where if you're not of the opinion that DC is trying to catch up to Marvel, or that Marvel's Avengers in particular is the standard, and by the way, if you want to use Winter Soldier as the standard, I got no hate for you. But if you're not of the opinion that they're trying to catch up to that standard, I don't want to finish the conversation with you. Like that's where they need to head. That's what good is.
I would agree. The destruction of Metropolis really did bother me in Man of Steel, but if where we're going is Batman versus Superman actually looks like it's doing, like where the entire world is split on their opinion of, they're going straight for civil war. Yeah, and that's going to be a fine thing. That really is. And the thing is that's one of the problems I had too. Was half of Metropolis seemed like it got destroyed. Right. Not even Morpheus could save it. I tend to forget that Morpheus was in that film.
I try to, and sometimes I just can't. He did fine, but he
couldn't exist in that universe. He would say, choose the red pill or the blue pill, and Superman would just say, which one is red and which one is blue.
Yeah. They're having a conversation. I don't know. I thought you would be able to help. No. If where it's going is that Batman decides that no one should have this much power, at least not without him getting a sit down with the guy first.
And of course he would.
And yes, he absolutely would. That's fine. I got no problem with that. Now, I would kind of like to know if that was post hoc, because one of the complaints people had was the fact that half Metropolis had been destroyed. So I kind of would like to know if that direction was chosen before or after all those complaints came in.
I am generally not a fan of David S. Goyer, and am unwilling to give him the benefit of the doubt on anything. And I'm pretty sure he's not even writing this thing anymore. I'm pretty sure that he has been shuffled off to some dark corner somewhere, probably making another puppet master.
Just to give him a story arc, I would love to say that, or to hear that was his last idea before he left. Was, hey, have him fight. That was a problem. I would love to find out that was what happened, but there's just no chance.
I mean, it's been quite a while. I mean, I think they were probably. It seems like they were probably planning on doing some sort of Batman versus Superman. I mean, they've been talking about it for years and years, for more than Well, I mean, they were making references to it in Will Smith's I Am Legend. They had like the Batman versus Superman logo, and that was a thing that had been rumored to be happening for really long time, years and years.
Wow.
I think they
And
just
it's a good thing
wanted
to do.
Batman versus Superman on a billboard somewhere, and they were going to. It was going to happen if a hair lives hell. Like, they were going to do that.
It's the giant spider in Act 3. It's going to happen.
Right.
With enough will. It's a good thing to happen, and it's never actually been on screen before. To my knowledge, Superman and Batman have never fought in live action. And one of the things I'm looking forward to most, other than everything else we can geek out about, is finally getting it into the mainstream. Because if you go ask a mainstream someone who's half familiar with these characters and ask them who's going to win that fight, every time they'll say Superman, and they'll think you're an idiot for saying anything else. Yeah. Superman has never taken Batman down in the books. Never. He's brought him down a few notches, but it never ends that way.
I remember
every
he punched
time they
him
really
one time.
fight. Oh yeah, he's definitely taken a few licks in, and by all means, I don't mean that Superman has hurt him on a number of occasions, but Bat's usually just skedaddles, which at that point is an absolutely useful mechanism. There's a god punching you. Sure. Run. No one is judging you for that.
Well, apparently there are a fair amount of douchebags who judge Batman for such things.
Unfairly.
They're like, why's he got to be prepared?
You try.
He can't fight Superman. He can't fight Superman. He's just a man in a suit. Superman. That's always that's the argument. Superman is Superman.
That's the basic argument. And
the hell you say?
If it plays out anything like the Frank Miller version, Superman gets left a bloody mess.
Yeah.
And they'll probably find some way to get the aerosolized kryptonite in there without needing a one-armed arrow, but
well,
I don't know yet.
This movie's gonna make a ton of money just because it appeals to that. It appeals to that base question. No, regardless of whether you are a diehard comic book fan or just some guy that used to really, really enjoy Julie Newmar on the Adam West series, you were going to be
both.
Everyone,
things.
we all turn into 5-year-olds when Batman versus Superman. Who wins? Like, oh,
yeah.
We all have our guy.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, everyone's going to be going to see this thing. They could flat out say it was in black and white, and they would go see it. I am loving.
Be there on opening night.
I am loving this cult of Superman army thing. They're kneeling to him. The false god spray painted on the statue. By the way, Jesse Eisenberg did exactly what I thought he was going to do with that Luthor voice. He just sounds like Zuckerberg from Social Network with the hint, just a little bit more creepy.
That's going to be
really
fun.
digging. I'm really digging the idea of his Lex Luthor. Yeah,
he was one of those casting choices where I wouldn't have seen it coming in any direction, but big ol' yes.
Yeah, it's yes. I heard it. I heard the casting choice, and I recoiled, jumped backwards, realized I was falling, and then what caught me? Jesse Eisenberg. All right, let's
Supergirl?
Sure.
I mean, as a transition, we might as well stick on that side of it.
CW just released the Supergirl trailer for the new... No, not CW. CBS, sorry.
Yeah.
They're going to be airing this at the same time as Gotham on Fox, which... huge misstep in my opinion, but whatever.
Completely.
Let's not have infighting but whatever.
They are apparently attempting to prove that they actually can win the ratings war with one hand tied behind their back. Best of luck.
Can't.
I'm watching it the next day on Hulu anyway. Do whatever you want to do.
Pretty much. What'd you think of Supergirl, buddy?
You should definitely go first here. I think I'm more excited than you are, by a very long shot.
The only thing this trailer was missing was the song "1,000 Miles" by Vanessa Carlton.
Which I'm almost sure will be playing in the background during the first episode somewhere.
Yeah.
There's going to be a humanizing scene in a karaoke bar.
This is like, The Devil Wears Prada if Anne Hathaway wore red boots and a cape.
Right.
I don't know. I know what they're thinking, and I understand they're like marketing to young girls, and I'm completely on board. Like, I will say that the chick playing Supergirl, I never saw Glee, but she seems to be a fine actress. She seems better than most of the women they have on Arrow, at least. Yeah. And there's something very cool and exciting about the idea that little girls may be, dressing up, putting on like a towel or whatever, and pretending to be Supergirl.
Which is just
actually
plain awesome.
Finally getting into it, It is if they do it correctly. Like if they do like Peggy Carter with a red skirt or something, whatever, like
right.
Make her a good character first.
I mean, I've got a friend that just had a baby a little less than a year ago, and when I looked at the Marvel schedule, I was really excited for it's a little girl, and I was excited for her because by the time she's about 3 or 4, there will be a Miss Marvel movie all for herself, and I kind of thought that'd be pretty cool. I'll put her a little red cape, put it on the side. Yeah, let's do this.
That could be extremely cool to actually, let's bring in a couple more, females, powerful females. Let's not do like, sidekick with
or anything involving Thea. Just anything, ever, which is maybe one of the worst characters in the history of women.
Yeah. Anything. Like, they even robbed Black Canary of her canary cry until very recently. And even then, it's like, she needs tech to empower her there. I mean, no, give her the canary cry. For realsies.
I wouldn't have minded if, and they could have, rather than having Cisco build her the little canary cry, which is a fine mechanism to go with. Great, fine, good, worked. Why not just have Laurel visit Central City at about the time the thing goes off? Give her an actual Maida power, and lo and behold, it's this sonic cry thingy. She could have been a Maida. Like, we had the incident.
Well, for the longest time, I thought that Laurel already had the canary cry, and then I was like, oh, she's just talking.
That's just her actual voice. Oh,
pardon me.
Pardon me. Well, I enjoy her voice compared to the series of lisps in the rest of the show.
Yeah, what is that about?
I don't know. It's like going to a Donald Duck convention. I don't completely understand it.
You lied to me, Laurel.
I'm actually excited about Supergirl.
The action looks actually as good as it does on like the Flash and Arrow, which now the little girl say, I can't remember how to say her last name. It's Benoist. I keep reading it, but I no one's told me how to say it, and I don't speak French. So Benoist, I don't know. Blonde girl. I don't remember.
Two things I'm liking about her, though, is one, in an interview, she does seem really excited, and she does seem to be, she's trying to do as many of her stunts as she can, which usually makes the action look better.
Benoist, I would think.
Benoist? Someone, for God's sake, tell us how to say that.
Yes, someone, for God's sake.
Explain to us how to say this woman's name. But look, I'm excited about it for a number of reasons. The fan base getting expanded is obviously one of them.
Yeah.
Supergirl's an amazing character, especially when she's used correctly. It's going to be fun. Now, it's also going to be fun that apparently it's established in this universe that there's already a Superman.
Which was weird for me.
Yeah, we're just going to shoehorn in, oh yeah, and there's Superman. Never mind about that. Which is one of the
really weird...
Go ahead.
Sorry. One of the really weird things for me was that they made such a big deal in the trailer about what the symbol means and how it's back to the comic book roots and not at all in tune with Man of Steel. Like, nope, it doesn't mean hope. It's the crest for the House of El.
Which is, and spoiler here, what it actually is.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Unless Superman was lying. If they doing Superman Batman where Batman's like, you lied to everyone. What do you mean?
You know what? I've never thought about it, but yeah.
That's your family crest, isn't it, you douchebag?
But sorry. Now that you mention it, the crazy part is, I can deal with Superman killing. I am not okay with Superman lying. I've never thought about it, but that is a big mental block for me. That's a big hell no.
Right. It's like, yep, I broke his neck. Oh, well, you're so honest about it. Thanks for saving us, Superman. Yeah, you're welcome.
For some reason, him lying is something that just I'm viscerally unable to accept. But the Supergirl action looks good. They still haven't announced who the villain is. Or
I think it's Callista Flockhart, isn't it? Was that what that creature was?
Yeah. That's going to be good. I actually am excited about that. Not so excited about Dean Cain because that's going to be distracting. That's just going to be distracting. He's the Superman I would like to forget. I would prefer Brandon Routh to him at this point.
Well, Brandon Routh is amazing. He's just a good actor.
If they'd had him actually fight somebody, it'd have been fine.
He's a good kid. When he ain't getting shivved by kryptonite, he's a good kid. He's doing a fantastic job over on Arrow. He really is.
Oh, he's doing phenomenal. He was an amazing choice. Now here's the thing though, and I would put my money right now on Supergirl not getting involved with the rest of the universe they're building. I know it's Berlanti. I know that CW is a pocket studio for CBS. I know there's no contractual problem here. But are we really going to be sitting here talking about a world where Arrow, Oliver Queen, has no idea there's a Superman?
Yeah, that part seems unlikely to me. Now, keep in mind, though, one, they're dealing with a lot of time travel on The Flash.
They are.
Anything could easily be rewritten.
Easily. And it needs to wrap that up by the next episode. That needs to be part of the finale in a very major way.
I mean, look at the Legends of Tomorrow is nothing but time travel. I don't see why alternate universes couldn't be a part of this. We know they're saying they're not doing, the TV universe and the movie universe aren't going to be the same universe. Okay, that's fine. I don't see why we can't have alternate universes. Alternate realities are a mainstay of comic books. Everyone understands the concept. Now, I'm not saying they're definitely going to, but, if you'd asked me a year ago if we were going to have the Atom and freaking White Canary and Hawk Girl and all these cats with Rip Hunter as
I haven't heard
Arthur
Rip Hunter
Darvill.
since 52.
Yeah, flipping and flopping around in time, fighting Vandal Savage. If you had told me that was going to be a thing, I would have laughed at you.
Right. I mean,
So
I admit there's any kind of possibility. And the fact that there is a thing called Crisis at all means that,
right.
we can just imagine that's what's happening. And I'm fine with that.
Right. The fact that they put the word crisis in a television show about superheroes.
That's all we need. Now, here's the thing that I'm...
There be hope, y'all. There be hope.
Here's my dream. Here's what I wish would happen. Supergirl does fine. We get about 4 seasons.
Right.
Arrow and Flash continue to do fine. DC's LOT.
DC's lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep going. All right. So all these properties work out. The movies are doing okay. The Justice League is there. Okay. Then do the collapse. Then finally do it. So season 4 of Supergirl, 4 or 5, depending on where the timing ends up. The big bad at this point is the Anti-Monitor. You close the actual Supergirl series with Henry Cavill carrying her out.
Oh.
A man can dream.
Be a fine thing.
A man can dream.
I've heard loftier dreams.
Yeah, like, anything that's happening in MCU right now.
Right. Like, hey, by the way, Avengers. That was a lofty dream. No,
that wasn't it. I mean, you remember the days of hearing that they had cast a Thor and that they'd cast a Captain America and having to suppose that are they going to do the Avengers? That came about in pieces.
I just remember laughing at the idea of Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark.
Yeah, I was so
and moving
confused.
along with my day. Like I have always
the guy
loved
from
Robert
Swingers
Downey
is going to
Jr.,
direct it.
but-
Oh, this is going to badly. All wrong.
Yeah.
All completely
everyone.
historically wrong.
I wasn't even angry because I didn't care. I was just like,
Right.
yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, there was no.
And now I
emotional
can't
investment
imagine
at
my
that time.
life. I can't imagine my life without Tony Stark.
Exactly. And he just, I mean, I've read some of those comics. Looking back, and just when you close your eyes and think about him again, screw the drawing. I in my head, it's RDJ now. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I see a comic book with Tony Stark in it, I just go, oh, they must not have been able to draw Robert Downey Jr. And I move along with my day.
Oh, they've even started doing, and this is one of those little. There's the company called Graphic Audio that does these little the audiobook versions of some of the comics that I enjoy listening to. I really do. They do a pretty good job with a lot of them. What cracked me up was I'm pretty sure they didn't start putting those out until a few years back, and I think all this was kind of on the scene at the time. But they've got even the person doing Tony Stark's voice in this sounds like RDJ. Like they've just assumed this is the universe now, and that they're gonna have to cope with it. Which was smart.
And I promise we're not going to keep talking about Marvel. I mean, we will from time to time, but it's amazing that Clark Gregg.
As we've discussed, it's the standard.
It is. Clark Gregg does the voice of Phil Coulson in every cartoon that he appears in. That character appears in, Clark Gregg does that voice. I love that.
Oh, see, all right, then back to DC. That's what Amel's doing now.
Yeah, Stephen Amell is like my television hero.
He just loathes the idea of anyone in any capacity, even for the game that came out recently, the Batman Lego game thing. Even that, he demanded to do the voice. It was, and yes, he is a hero.
Well, he wound up doing the voice for the Arrow version of Green Arrow in Injustice.
Injustice, yeah.
Yeah, when normally it's Alan Tudyk, whom I adore.
Oh yeah.
But it makes me happy to select that Arrow skin, and suddenly Amell is like, "You have failed this city."
It's just wonderful.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
The continuity of it's amazing, and Amell seems to really, really love this character. And he's done his homework. If you listen to him and look at his interviews, and even I've heard him here and there talking about it, he loves this character. He has done his research. He's a fine example of how to treat a property like this.
Right.
Oh, speaking of which, his finale was phenomenal. But I mean, the Arrow finale, it's confusing on several levels. Not the least of which is because you actually hear the producer use the word finale. I think the phrase was, "It would make a great finale if we wanted it to." I don't know what he's up to, but I get the feeling they're trying to reboot a little bit in season 4 to rekajigger.
Yeah. I am so sick of hearing "My name is Oliver Queen," and they actually called the episode "My Name is Oliver Queen." Well, no shit, buddy. We know. You've told us in every episode. At the beginning of every episode, I would rather him come back with like a
somewhere
parody
around the middle of the show. Even he actually tells Rage, which, by the way, I maintain is pronounced Rage because that's how Neil Adams says it.
Right.
Sorry, show.
Well, no one in the show pronounces it the same way twice.
I know it's a hard name.
Ross,
it really is.
Rage.
Razzle.
Can we get a director of continuity over here? Can we?
No, the director
Save
of
the
continuity
show.
is busy making sure that everyone's lisp levels are at acceptable minimums.
I would.
It takes the over. That's a 55-hour week right there, just keeping track of the lisps.
If Greg Berlanti or Mark Guggenheim or any of these cats are listening, please, if they somehow stumble upon this podcast blindly, ineptly, and make it this far in, replace the opening I don't care with what. I would rather you replace it with the parody of "We Built This City" by Starship. You know, just like
you failed this city.
Him and Felicity doing a spin class to that song at the beginning.
With
happy
Laurel,
as they
like,
could be in their new life.
With
now,
Laurel
that's an important part of it.
Mixing around in the background, falling.
Right.
Bad choreography.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It's going to be... No, I think they are. I think they were putting a cap on that tone and that premise of the show. I really do think they were doing that. Because even like in the LOT trailer, which was just oh man, that brightened my day so much.
Yeah. By the way, guys, thanks for just letting us know that he's already going to be back in costume. Like, why would you even end it like that? You're like, oh, we have this very Dark Knight Rises, let's go to a cafe somewhere moment.
Right.
And Mel's like, because Arrow's not a pansy like Christian Bale's Batman. He doesn't take 8 years off. He takes a vacation and thinks, nope, wait, we got to do this.
Well, it really does. It makes it look like what happened was they drove off into the sunset. Two crazy kids going to find themselves and kind of over their shoulder went, yeah, we'll be back Monday. It makes it look like a long weekend. It
really did seem like that. And if I could, I would keep the bad choreography. Like if they said, okay, you can take one thing out of the show you don't like, I would say get rid of the CW crap, man. I don't need to know. I don't need Oliver to be like, I said I couldn't be the Arrow and be with you, but now I choose you, Felicity. I want to be happy. Oh, yeah. God. Come on. Can we get over this?
The one thing I'd grab, if I could go into the writer's room and just look at all the well-worn index cards that they're dropping into different parts of the plot. The I was lying to protect you card. I'm taking it out to space and I'm throwing it at the sun.
But, that card has a healing factor.
They have single-handedly ruined that trope for me.
They threw Wolverine into the sun and he came back.
He came back with this card he didn't know what to do with. Was someone missing this? You? Okay, here, thanks.
That card has been around longer than Wolverine. I hate that card. I hated it on Smallville.
I know.
I don't think it was ever uttered in Batman the Animated Series, which is what everyone should be looking up to as their pinnacle of DC-ness.
That's a good rule. That's a good rule in general. If you're writing for DC right now, if Paul Dini didn't do it, take it off your lot. He didn't do it because he didn't think of it. You didn't beat Paul Dini to a punch. He's Paul frickin' Dini. He thought about it, he thought better of it, and he chose not to do it.
And also beg Paul Dini to be on your writing staff.
Also beg Paul Dini to come fix your stuff, yes.
Paul Dini, we need help.
Whedon's currently on vacation, which means he's probably just filmed a Shakespearean film in 2 weeks. But he's not busy, as far as I know. So grab him.
The way they have staggered these Flash Arrow episodes are really kind of confusing. When did Arrow have time to kind of pop out of that Nana Parbat or whatever it's called?
Nana Parbat.
Is that it? Nana Parbat. When did he have time to jump out of there to get past Raish's guards and help Flash out with Reverse Flash and then just kind of pop back? Yeah, when did that happen?
admittedly, as much as I enjoyed that scene, and I giggled like a child being shown a balloon. I really did. I loved every second of it. But it raises important questions. Like, at that point in time, Oliver's big plan is supposed to be to save his entire city. And he goes and risks his life helping out a metahuman? 2 metahumans?
Yeah.
I think they've got this. And as you brought up the other day, why would you throw Ray Palmer's name into the hat?
Right. Arrow, well, first of all, Arrow saved those metahumans' asses. He did. Won the day. He was playing Batman there. He was just like, nanotechnology.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It just seemed unnecessary. Like, say you lose this battle. Say Reverse Flash actually kicks all 3 of their asses right there. I have no reason to believe he wouldn't kill pretty much everyone but Barry at that point. Those 2 are irrelevant to him, and he seems to have some plan for Barry, so he probably wouldn't kill him. But if he did, the next person on his hit list is Ray Palmer.
Oh, you know what would have been badass? If like Oliver shows up, brings up a fist, and like the entire League of Assassins.
That would have been amazing.
Screw Firestorm. We don't need Firestorm. Bring in the League of Assassins.
Distract him for half a second while my entire league destroys him.
That would have made a lot more sense. Like, going to Raish and being like, an injustice has occurred. We must go. Yes, whatever. You're the heir to the demon. Go play.
Go do your thing. I mean, he could have justified it. He could have told Raish, "Hey, look, the world's changing. There's these metahuman things, right? Like, you're not the only weird guy in the world anymore. We're gonna need these guys on our side. So I got a friend. We're gonna go help him out. We're gonna create some more allies. It'll be good. Cool. All right. And then we're gonna go poison the city next week. All right, cool. I'll see you then."
Right.
Or actually,
this guy's wearing a yellow costume. Oh yes, go deal with that. I mean, someone's wearing a yellow costume. That's just stupid.
Totally unacceptable.
That's lame. That's lame. Go
relieve him of his haberdashery. Oh man!
Because a yellow costume is unbounded haberdashery.
Right. Because Rage can put up with a lot of things, but not a yellow costume.
He's a very flamboyant man. He likes his capes. He likes his jewelry, but a yellow costume cannot be tolerated.
By the way, I want to know how that ring stays on somebody's index finger.
Right. It look like those goth kids that walk around in the mall. That's what it.
I keep imagining that inside it has little elastic strappings, so it actually does pinch to your finger. Because otherwise, it just looks like you put your finger in it, and then the moment you're not holding your hand straight up to the sky, it falls off. It doesn't look like an entirely.
It's got little elastic bands held on by a glue gun.
Yeah. If there's any jewelry designers that also happen to be fans of the show Arrow, they were looking at it and going, "Oh hell no, that shit doesn't work. I tried it."
I made one for my goth sister. She could never keep it on her finger.
Just get falling off. She lost it in a subway. She couldn't hear it over the Fall Out Boy on her headphones.
All right, so interesting little twist on Malcolm Merlyn surviving the Blade of the Demon and becoming the demon himself.
I did. I was a little annoyed that I hadn't noticed. Because they've been setting that thing up for weeks.
They have. And I think I didn't notice because I didn't really care until it happened.
Although, did it strike you funny for just a second that once again he can't die? Like Harkness before.
Yeah. For the listeners who aren't Doctor Who / Torchwood fanatics like we are.
Shame on you, by the way.
John Barrowman, who plays Malcolm Merlyn on Arrow, also played a character named Jack Harkness who was immortal. So there you go. That's your I don't know.
Back
there's your little catch up
for the day. Other than the fact that Darvill's there.
So who fact?
Actually,
who factoid?
Pretty much everybody in the Whoverse at this point is in a comic book property of some kind, except Matt Smith.
Right. And
Even
it makes
River.
me sad because Neil Adams has gone on wasn't it Neil Adams that said that he really wanted Matt Smith to play the Joker?
Yes, it was, and
That
it was
I
an
can't
amazing
argue
moment.
with that. That'd be pretty
Just
amazing.
can't. I just can't. I would pretty much take him playing about any villain. It's Matt Smith. He could play the Easter Bunny and I'd watch it.
And yet, are you planning on seeing Terminator Genesis?
No.
Well then, you're not you're not a true Matt Smith fan then.
You're right. My theory is completely abolished. I retract it because there's no way I'm seeing Terminator.
I'm not saying it either. I want to
didn't
support
care when
Matt
I was
Smith,
7.
but
I don't care now.
that was a poor choice, Matt. That was a poor choice.
It's a big property. I'm sure it was a great paycheck. Don't blame him. I'm just not gonna see it.
Yeah,
Plenty of people
I'm
will.
sure it was
It's
a great
gonna be-
paycheck.
Well, I mean, I'd be surprised if they offered him a small amount of money.
I think with Avengers, Avengers will probably stay in the theater most of the summer. And then Ant-Man, I don't think Terminator's going to make a lot of money. I just don't. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But that's just me. I don't know.
It's one of those properties that just has its hooks. It will make money. It may not make as much as you think, but it will make money.
Yeah. Can we talk about the terrible firestorm effects in Rogue Air?
Please. And I agree wholeheartedly. Now, that's an
It's
interesting
one
thing
thing.
that's come up, though.
What's that?
Oh, well, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was just, it's one thing to have a significantly poor shot CGI. This was one thing. I understand, man, you're doing this on a budget. You're doing this on a time schedule. You got to get things done. Do we have to reuse the single worst shot in the entire episode?
And maybe more
Because
episodes.
that
It may
shot
be the worst
where
shot
fire
in the series so far.
It might be, and that shot where Firestorm lands and then kind of walks forward, and his head just kind of bobbles.
Yeah, his
he looks-
body walks forward and his head follows behind about half a second later.
Not 5 minutes later, after their little tussle, he lands and they could have cut away before he starts walking. This is why they need Paul Dini. This dude was like making a gritty show. These cats were making. They need Bruce Timm there just to oversee like editing. Like these cats were making a gritty show where you couldn't see everything because the kids were watching, and so but you kind of show things like off screen. You hint at them, more imagination, and you don't have to see terrible special effects. They could have just. I knew who Firestorm was. I saw him land. I didn't need to see him walk forward again at the same angle.
I mean,
with the same bobblehead.
If you wanted to do it the one time, fine, and give me a few minutes to forget how bad that graphic was. And then if you're going to do it again, okay, well, use the shot of him coming in. At least reverse the image so it looks like it's coming from another angle. So my brain doesn't immediately go, oh, I've seen that before. That was the shot where the weird bot. Oh, there it is. That's what your brain did when you saw that.
My brain just screamed. Again?
Right.
Again? Oh.
Less is more. Just less is more. Take the card that says I lied to protect you, scratch it out with permanent marker, and write less is more, and then throw it back on the wall.
By the way, did we properly talk about the Legends of Tomorrow trailer?
We have not.
Okay.
I mean, we've scrambled around it.
All kinds of against them bringing back Sarah Lance. All kinds. That said,
White Canary doesn't have a lot going on.
I don't even know what White Canary means. This is a concept that's. I mean, it just
like
seems
White Canary. I actually had to
Katie
look
Lotz.
up. It's never it. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna miss Katie Lotz too much. I mean, I honestly, after a while, I did like her better than Laurel, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't right. Like, Laura Lance has to be Black Canary. It has to be.
Yeah.
The same way, Speedy needs to be wearing that red hood.
Right.
You can do it another way, and if you do it well, I won't care either way. But why? Why would you change that?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the White Canary is just a random character that no one knows the history of. So in the comics, it's what it looks like.
I had never heard the words White Canary until I saw set footage or set shots from people that had Katie Lotz in the white uniform, and someone apparently figured out, the White Canary. I don't know who that person is, but I tip my hat to you for even knowing who the White Canary was.
Yeah,
that was.
I don't.
My bailiwick did not
know who
include
it was.
But I mean, they'll probably get interesting with her. They'll probably get interesting with her. And the thing is, it's going to be a teen thing, so whatever. And she just got out of a Lazarus pit, so pretty much anything that just comes out of a Lazarus pit, by its very definition, is going to be interesting.
Unless, of course, it's Thea.
Unless, of course, it's Thea, who seems to have one superpower, which is being impervious to the fact that makes you batshit crazy.
Yeah, but despite the point that Malcolm Merlin kept saying, like, you don't know what you're going to do. Like, if you bring her back, she won't be the same. No, she seems exactly the same.
3 episodes later, she is exactly the same.
I mean, I would have been happy. I would have called it a win if they never mentioned anything, but suddenly she didn't have a lisp anymore. But
that would have been great.
As it is, that is not what transpired.
No. Or she just popped out of the Lazarus pit, suddenly not needing to define her entire existence by the guy next to her.
Oh, that's cold, man. That's cold.
And well earned. Well earned. Show me one Thea subplot that hasn't revolved around her boyfriend doing something.
Well, there was that time where she that like whole half a season where she was defining herself based on her mother's lies.
All right, fair enough. It's not an improvement on her character, but it's a different flavor at least. I'll take it.
It's not an improvement on her character, but it does pass the Bechdel test. So
it does. She's bored me. Like, she hasn't had a willful instinct the entire time she's been on screen. And we seem to have spent 3 seasons protecting her from being a badass. Like, at this point, she's the freaking Red Arrow. She's Speedy.
Yeah.
I don't know what Arsenal's going to be off doing somewhere. I'm curious about that.
To my knowledge.
Hopefully he finds Jason Todd somewhere and sets off.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it? I'll take that show. I will take that show.
I really, you know what? I would, just totally okay, cool. They just didn't mention aliens. It was a given because Superman's been around. Yeah, let's bring in Supergirl. Let's do that. If I can get a spinoff of Red Hood and the Outlaws, I am on board that friggin' train.
I'll take everything Abercrombie has to offer.
Barreling off the side of a canyon with Doc Brown and Marty McFly trying to save us the entire time. I am on that train.
And we're obviously in a universe where your good guy doesn't necessarily have to be that good. Like, Arrow spent most of the first season killing dozens of people. Just killing all the time.
Which I was fine with, by the way.
Still did some killing.
Yeah, I was fine. When he was killing people. I was actually going, oh man, they're going to convince him not to kill, aren't they?
And one of my biggest hopes was, and this, I kind of hoped it would be him that had to go in the Lazarus pit. Just so when he came out, he was slightly crazy and might actually smile at some point.
Oh man, yeah. I was really hoping they'd throw him in the Lazarus pit. Like, I was hoping that when he got stabbed by Raish, he'd be thrown in the Lazarus pit and come out a little cocky. Like, yay, Comic Book Aldi is here. Comic Book Aldi is here.
Start using all of his family wealth for, liberal causes of various sorts. Fine.
I would really enjoy that. Bring in, they're bringing in Hawk Girl into Legends of Tomorrow. Yes, let's do cocky liberal Ollie and have Hawkman be like the angry conservative he was back in the old days of Justice League, and have him go at it. Like, that was an amazing time.
It really was.
I am down.
And
Berlanti,
if we're gonna have aliens
this.
and you don't pull in John Jones, I have problems. I have problems with you.
Oh, see, I'm not sure because DC. I don't know why they're screwing themselves. I really don't. Like, Warner Brothers is just, I was just reading a thing where they were saying, we're not going to have Batman and Superman really show up in the TV universe. And I'm like, bullshit, you gave me a silhouette. You gave me a silhouette in Supergirl.
Kind of cavalish. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to be tall, dark, and handsome. I mean, it takes more than I'm capable of achieving, but it doesn't take a whole lot. There are plenty of tall, dark, handsome men that'll be happy to stand in there with a Superman outfit.
And now there are more.
And now there are
even Jimmy Olsen. Even Jimmy Olsen is now tall, dark, and handsome.
Yes.
I'm confused by this.
It's the world we live in. They're making it impossible to be a pudgy man. They really are. I like that guy. I was actually happy to see him. The only time I've ever seen him before was he showed up in True Blood as, I think his name was Eggs. It was a weird thing. It was a weird time. Pretty much.
I've never seen him before.
But I watched the guy. I was happy to see him actually working again. I'm sure he's been doing stuff. I just haven't seen it.
I am not entirely certain this man could have ever been Superman's pal. He doesn't seem like he's his little buddy with a little wristwatch or anything. It doesn't feel like Superman would have ever, just been like, "Oh yeah, dude, you're pathetic. You need saving." Like, you're like, "Nope, you're tall, you're handsome, you're good."
They're obviously going to be completely doing away with the my little buddy dynamic, because even at the end of the Supergirl trailer, they've got him coming in there with the blanket Cal showed up in, and he's clearly kind of on board Team Superman already. And
sure.
Seems to be an active member. And by the way, I don't remember looking at his wrist, but I'm almost sure there wasn't a watch on him.
Well, no, because now it's just an app on his phone. It's a Kryptonian app on his phone. But
there's a little Kryptonian app. Yeah, that's it.
No, he's clearly doing. They're clearly doing like, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with Superman. Here, he gave you his cape." I'm like,
a little
dude,
app he downloaded called iSave. You click it, Superman shows up. It's wonderful. Apple gets a cut somehow.
But it's only for iOS. Android users are screwed.
Or dude, don't buy a Samsung if you want Superman helping you.
Oh.
See, Legend of Tomorrow, where we started this whole thing.
Is that where we started? It's been so long.
A few days ago when we started on Legends of Tomorrow. Some of the more exciting aspects, I actually I know it's stupid, but I like the fact that they've tagged it DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Because it makes it feel like what they're going to do is a little bit the way Justice League Unlimited did this. It putting DC's up there might give you just the rope you need to just kind of do whatever you want. I mean, there's a few hundred IPs to play with. Grab a few. Throw them in the show.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the show because it looks batshit crazy. It looks like it doesn't. We're done. We're done with the gritty realness. It looks like all manner of ridiculous camp.
And that's another big pile of yes please.
Yeah, I mean, not Adam West camp by any means, but I mean the trailer.
But come on,
just openly shows Ray Palmer shrinking.
Yes, we have it. We've got it, and it's goofy Ray sitting there trying to prove his point. I love that. I really love how Routh is playing this whole thing. He's doing an excellent job. Like he's the guy in my head now. He really is very quickly becoming. When I think back on the comics, I'm putting his face in there. But he even in the show, like there's it's one of those stupid Whedon kind of things. But it's just wonderful. That's the kind of tone they picked on this. I forget what battle they're having. God only knows, and I don't even know what time we're in at this point. But they're having a little battle in a warehouse kind of thing, and then he says, "Well, is that all you got? And why'd you say that?" Yeah, like that kind of back and forth. It's a very Whedon kind of moment. But it's campy. It takes itself not 105% seriously. Yes, just absolutely yes. And as far as I know, they haven't cast Vandal Savage yet, so I get the feeling we're not going to see him till late. If they have cast him, it's still secret.
Right.
So you get the feeling that what we're going to do is go through a lot of trials and tribulations here and different time settings and all that until we finally get to Vandal Savage.
By the way, I saw a review. I didn't read it, but I probably will because I do enjoy Alan Sepinwall's reviews over on HitFix. But I just love this title. The light of the Flash has cast an unflattering shadow over Arrow this season.
Like we all just looked up from our over serious stupor and realized, oh, there is levity in the world.
Right.
Look at that guy over there smiling. Hey, Oliver, you want to try that out?
I saw that headline and I thought, I don't have to read this. I know exactly what he means.
I know exactly where he's heading, and I agree.
I didn't realize how bored I was by Arrow until The Flash. Like, The Flash is such a better show.
It is. It is.
So much so it's just like, on point, on point, on point. Ooh, Iris, on point, on point, on point. Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. Both of the shows have that kind of, there is a little bit of a CW vibe to it where it's...
Yeah.
I think of it as like the CW vibe. In my head, the closest working definition I have for it is two characters overexposing their feelings.
Yeah.
There is a lot of... And this is a problem we've had since day one with Arrow. Show, don't tell.
Right.
And that was... Because that was our first problem. And...
Please stop telling. Yeah. Please stop telling. Please
stop telling me what you're feeling. Telling. Just let me figure that out.
But wait. Yeah. If you've got a secret, tell it. Tell it. Tell it.
Wait. Yeah.
Please.
You overcorrected. You overcorrected.
No, you're in another relationship. Stop looking longingly at this guy who has a relationship. That's not with you. Please.
And I mean, the first episode of Arrow, and this is before there was so much excitement about it. I mean, let's face it, we're in a time where we're all still recovering from The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, I still haven't fully recovered. I have no expectation. There's a medical term
You never
called,
fully recover. I still haven't recovered from
yeah.
Batman and Robin.
No.
So.
No, there's no getting past that. But we're at a time, though, where as far as DC on-screen properties, I didn't have a lot of hope. I really didn't. Mm-hmm. And I had heard how good Arrow was, and just kind of didn't believe it. I just kind of didn't. I mean...
And you were right to not believe it.
Yeah.
To some degree. Like, there are things in Arrow I love. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I cannot stop watching.
There's a lot I don't.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of overexposition in general with it. But the thing is, like, for the first time, like, me and you sat down to watch Arrow.
We did.
It was the second or third time I had tried to watch the show. The first 10 minutes, you see him on the island. That's kind of neat. Then you see him back at home, and he's giving the internal dialogue of what he's up to. And it was just...
Yeah.
You can almost hear him kind of going, and then I turned my head to the right, and then I felt sad. And then I looked down at my scars, I felt sad again. But then I looked at the sky, and I also felt sad. It was just... It was a lot to get through. I couldn't get used to the tone. The aesthetic of it was just... but
yeah, it's like
once
this
you made it halfway into
this
the
room
episode,
that's so familiar yet so distant.
Yeah, but once you make it in and he starts parkouring his way through bad guys, yeah.
Right.
I mean, by episode 4, he gets arrested for being the vigilante.
I think it was like episode 3.
3 or 4?
Yeah, it may have been 4. Yeah.
That show moved. It moved fast. Short of season.
It did for a time.
Yeah, and then it got to season 2, and someone put the emergency brake on for a while, and then we got to season 3, and your head got back above water.
Well,
can't say enough about season 3, at least as opposed to season 2.
Well, the first half of season 3 moved pretty quickly, I think, but again, that's coming off of season 2, but it still seems molassesy. It seems slow,
A little bit.
which is, I guess, appropriate when comparing it to The Flash.
Right. And it really was. Season 1 just... It moved. You couldn't get through an episode without some major piece of the landscape changing a little bit.
Yeah, and I was fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good thing.
I remember telling you episode 3 or 4 of Arrow season 1, we were like, oh my God, this is like season 7 of Smallville already.
Yeah, yeah.
This is moving, man.
And yeah, that was it was going. I really enjoyed it. And if anyone is listening and thinking we hate these shows, we have misportrayed ourselves. We have serious problems with a couple of these shows, and we all wish things were a little different in certain areas, lisps. But we love these shows. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't change them. I wouldn't take them off TV for anything.
I look forward to watching The Flash and Arrow before I even settle down for an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So.
Oh yeah, I mean,
this is that
happening. Was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for me. Pretty much fall and winter this year were done for, spoken for, done, got them. These are good things.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Now, that being said, though, Legends of Tomorrow, what do we got? Is it January 16 they were saying right now?
They haven't actually. I think I just read a thing where they were saying it might not actually be mid-season. They might actually run them all concurrently, like all together, So
gotcha.
I don't know.
And they put in a full episode order based on what they've seen so far, which is a very good sign.
Yeah, so did I, by the way. Not that it meant anything when I did it, but
right.
I was just, yes, I want more. I want more of this. I want lots of this.
I want lots of that. Let's do that. Can we do that? Let's do that.
Because hopefully hopefully Legends of Tomorrow won't have the CW stuff. It'll just be like a bunch of characters running around being like, woo! Let's go fight things, and Snart's an asshole. We're gonna keep him alive.
They're talking about trying to defeat Vandal Savage.
Right.
Over the course of time itself. I don't think we're gonna have time to sit down and overexpose each other's feelings about anything.
And hopefully
Plus, you're
going to
have Stein in there the whole time, logicking everything up and making sure that no one can get all wrapped up in their feelings. I'm hoping that's the point of that character.
Then you'll have Snart in there, snarting everything up.
Right.
So.
It's hard to take yourself too seriously when a guy like Leonard Snart standing next to you, judging you with those cold, dead goggles.
Quipping away.
Just quipping away at you.
Quipping away while Heatwave rages in the background.
Right. Now, and this is something all right, now, getting specifically to the main course of what's still on our plates here. I'm really going to miss him being in Flash. I loved their dynamic.
He might not be gone. They might, they might still pop up as often.
Well, they.
I mean, if we're to judge the crossovers that have already happened between the Flash and Arrow, they don't need to really explain. They don't feel the need to explain how time works.
Right.
I don't know when Cisco and Felicity got time to go. I don't know when Cisco and Felicity had time to hang out. I don't know when Ray popped over into the Flash. Like, I mean, we see, we see Roy take the blame for being, Arrow, and then like Felicity and Ray are over hanging out with Cisco, and
right.
Yeah.
Now, look,
yeah.
I mean, and by the way, this is a major concern I have. It's something I'm deeply worried about. This. That did feel like a finale on Arrow. It felt really happy, especially the ending. I mean, we've literally got Oliver Queen, grumpy old Queen, driving into the sunset with one of the most attractive people on television at the moment.
Can I submit Cantankerous Queen?
Cantankerous Queen. Yeah,
it's alliterative in spirit.
Right. Which the true Arrow would appreciate. We've literally got him running around, and the thing is, Flash still has a time problem. This hasn't been solved. We've gone about 7 or 8 episodes now, something like that, I think, and we're still in a different time stream.
Oh.
I'm deeply worried that we're going to go back and they never drove into the sunset.
That is kind of brilliant. And kind of awful.
That's the thing. I don't want to have just taken Arrow and take the last 7 or 8 weeks of Arrow and take them off the board. I mean, granted, that would give me Deadshot back, which I would like, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, because there has to be some resolve. The universes have crossed over. Arrow has been on the Flash, Flash has been on Arrow, and Arrow has been on the Flash while this time stream has been messed up. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason to think that it shouldn't affect the Arrow universe too. Yeah,
and especially considering the promo for the finale of The Flash, it looks like they're really going to be messing with time a lot. Like, he's going back, and it looks like there's people are being erased and whatnot. So I don't know where that leaves us. That's a good point, man.
And it'll be a continuity problem for me if it doesn't have an effect. But it has to have just the right effect to not mess up too much of what happened in Arrow, because you don't want them to just not count.
Right.
It'd be different if we had one more episode of Arrow where we were going to go back after the time stream had gone back and you could tell me what did and didn't exist. But I don't want to sit here and wait until the fall to see what still counts.
Yeah.
And they've given us no indication about how time is really going to work here with the Flash. There's no way to tell.
That's very interesting. I mean, if you take Stephen Amell's comments earlier, like a month or so ago, I believe he was at some sort of a Comic-Con situation and said that season 3 was going to wrap up what Arrow had been thus far. Like, the entire tone was going to change at the fundamental level.
Which is fine.
Hopefully, it means about halfway through the season they were like, wow, The Flash is really, really, really beating us in ratings. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should lighten up.
Which Stephen Amell has expressed interest in actually smiling at some point.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Amell actually seems like the Oliver Queen I want, just not as they're writing him at the current time.
Right. Just let him get put on the costume and ad-lib. Just... Right. I don't know what his improv skills are, but he seems like a good dude. Just throw him in the hood and go.
Yeah, I've never quite seen...
I mean, yeah, because that's the thing. I have heard him joking on a couple of occasions that he... how do you put it in one of the Comic-Con things is 90% of what he does is just look angry about something.
Yeah. I think if there's a guiding light in Arrow, it's going to be Amell. I'm not sure I've ever seen, for me personally, interest in a show based on pretty much almost mostly the star that's involved, like just based on the personality of the person who's playing the main character, not even the character.
Right.
And Amel is doing that for me for some reason. Like every interview I read, I'm just like, well done.
Yeah. It's hard to not read like stuff that he's actually said in interviews, and just every time I walk away going, this guy gets it. All right.
He does.
He really does.
All right, I am going to call it. And hopefully you guys will next week join us as we talk about the Flash finale. We'll probably, wax a little more on the Arrow finale. And also...
I have one last hope. One last hope before we go to next week.
Oh, okay.
They said they were introducing characters from LOT. I really want Rip Hunter to come back and fix the time problem on the Flash.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. It would actually kind of be interesting if next week on The Flash, like, he comes and he fixes it, and then he's like, by the way, this is not the reason I'm here. And then he's, what? We have to assemble a team. That would make my bitter, shrunken DC heart just twitter with excitement. Just,
yeah, wouldn't it?
All right. If you've happened to stumble upon us, go pop over, check out the MCU cast, the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. It's not us, it's our friends Matt Carroll and Jeff Randall. And check out my comedy sketches on maladjusted.tv. I'm also on YouTube. See you guys later, and have a good one.
Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo Taking Release.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who have found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com. Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo Taking Release.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who have found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com.